welcome to the First Vocal Plane Podcast with Sean and Rooster.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I was going to beatbox the intro, but then Kurt hit the button.
Yeah, don't do it.
What is that? What is that bullpup that you're firing in the intro?
That was
That was Miles.
That's a DTA.
Oh, was that Miles? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a what?
Desert Tech.
Oh, it's a Desert Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Those things are expensive, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug got here for the start of the show.
Oh, look at Doug. Hey.
Nice.
I
right,
don't know
Doug.
if he was here before us, though. We've been here for a half an hour, Doug.
I know. Well, just whatever. Tell him whatever makes him feel good. Well, for Doug, who's out there, welcome to the First Vocal Plane Podcast, episode 41. And we don't even have Luke on yet to wish him a happy 55th birthday.
Well, how
Loyal
about that?
listener. Yeah. Well, he'll have to rewind in the Tim Hortons parking lot.
Are we going to sing to him or?
No.
You can serenade him with your
ahead.
sultry voice.
Oh yeah, very sultry.
Anyway, happy birthday, Luke.
Yeah.
We're brought to you by, as always, EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. Is Canada's premier precision builder of lightweight hunting rifles, starter packages, and ELR rigs. EM Precision has the right stuff to get you into the field, out onto the range, and into the winner's circle. We want to say also congratulations to Andrew Herford for winning the EM Precision 6.5 PRC package from Tundra Supply. That's Tundra Supply in Edmonton, Alberta, where half the proceeds were donated to the CCFR Legal Defense Fund.
I think did look pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a hell of a rig.
Yeah.
It is. Very nice. Anyway, find EM Precision on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at emprifles.ca.
You bet. And like us, you could probably use a cup of bolt action coffee because we're all dragging ass tonight. I don't know what it is. We're all fucking
Not
tired.
me. I'm fucking ready to
Let's
go.
go! Anyway, but Bolt Action Coffee. Get into the precision coffee game with Bolt Action Coffee with exclusive award-winning roasts, boasting specialty coffee cupping scores of 1 million or higher. Bolt Action Coffee roasts will get your morning started right and keep you on target all day long. Like I said, I could use it right now. I'm not going to read this, but they do place orders fresh, and if they're in before Tuesday and Wednesday, all orders are shipped on Thursdays. Excuse me. So you always get fresh coffee, and the volume prevents aging on the shelf. So choose between Scopes Up, Overwatch, Suppress for you decaf lovers, because why? I don't understand.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah. And their newly released Midnight Canoe Trip.
Did we find out why they named it that yet?
It's classified.
It's classified.
That's where the guys hide their bodies. So they take a midnight canoe trip and toss those black rifle coffee guys off the edge.
I get that. I understand that. I really do. And in some ways, I'm even behind it. What I don't understand is, A, why advertise it? And B, why advertise it?
Maybe it's like reverse psychology.
Maybe.
right.
That could be.
Speaking of reverse psychology, do not use code First Focal Plane at checkout for 10% off your order because taxes are awesome. So find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website, boltactioncoffee.com.
How do I follow that? I didn't know we were allowed to improv on these things.
Well, by all means, man, fill your boots. Just don't fuck up. That's all I can say.
Coffee cupping scores of 1 million or higher is pretty impressive. I do have to say that. Well, I'll tell you what, Call Sign 66 is another one of our sponsors, and Call Sign 66 is a veterans-based organization founded to facilitate multi-generational passage of information, ballistic applications, R&D, there's no comma there, It's ballistic applications.
There's not supposed to be a comma. It's ballistic applications R&D.
What the fuck is that? Okay.
Research and development of ballistic applications.
I'm gonna reread this sentence.
Okay, start over.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Call Sign 66 is a veterans-based organization founded to facilitate multi-generational passage of information, research and development of ballistic applications, and shooter development. The omnidirectional passage of information is key to the community's success and growth, as our organizational philosophy is such that we all have something to offer. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Upcoming seminars include a wind and spotting fundamentals seminar on Saturday, April 17th and Monday, April 19th in Penticton, BC. That's Penticton, BC. Take 2 days to shoot with Call Sign 66 in an environment designed to comprehensively address the fundamentals of calling and correcting for wind, along with working in a team and spotting swirl. Now, that is awesome, but is wind more of a thing in BC or Saskatchewan? I'm just putting that out there.
True, but there are shooters in BC that need to learn wind too. So
yeah, but I'm not one of them. I do need to learn wind in Saskatchewan, though. All right. There's also a positional fundamentals seminar on Saturday, May 15th and Sunday, May 16th in Consort, Alberta. We're getting closer. Call Sign 66 Positional Rifle Seminar offers a 2-day seminar designed for shooters and hunters of all levels to evaluate and train a series of exercises and drills commonly seen in today's precision rifle series and hunting applications. Students that complete the course will have a proficiency in firearm safety, firearm handling under stress conditions, advanced marksmanship fundamentals, a combined knowledge of their personal capabilities with their equipment, and systematic training methods for future progression. Find them on Facebook.
It's a bag full.
It is a bag full. And it also had a spelling error in it, Sean, that I masterfully covered up.
I just copy and pasted from the website. So, Duncan, if you're listening, fix your shit, man.
Fix your shit, man. It's okay. You know what? Their specialization is reaching out and touching someone, not writing things.
Not someone. It's a civilian course, so they're touching steel or paper.
No, I meant teaching people, and they're touching lives by teaching people
there you
skills.
Go.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
I thought that was
that's what I meant.
Are you trying to Me Too the guys from Call Sign 66 right now?
Touching someone costs extra.
Yeah. They do accept tips.
Show me on the IPSC target where the bad man touched you.
It's the 45 right there.
Anyway, find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at callsign66.ca. Now, here's what I want to know. What were the conditions under which we are doing? They are teaching firearm handling under stress conditions. Because when I hear that, here's what I think about. When I went to Thailand to train Muay Thai, they would have you do planks, and they make you hold a plank. And if your ass gets up too high, then they stomp on your lower back until it's like in the right position. And if your ass sags too low, they kick you in the ribs until you go back to your standard plank. Is that what they're doing? Because that sounds brutal and awesome.
I would assume that with their military and law enforcement background, that Miles has a C6 right above, like a C6 squad automatic weapon, right above their heads as you're lying prone, and he's literally firing
the air,
dropping belts right in front of you. And if you get out of position, you're going to catch a round. So
he's pulling a Clint Eastwood on them.
That may or may not be true. So
what was that? Heartbreak Ridge? Clint Eastwood did that.
Yeah, that Ridge, and I think that's it. Because and Jarhead, the guy gets killed in the training in Jarhead, and Jamie Foxx lights up his dead body. Anyway.
Yeah,
we have a beard that is in our presence that is not Kurt's. So, Mr. Beard, who are you?
I'm Chris Hoyen. I am co-owner and host of Predator World Hunting.
Nice. And grower of a marvelous facial whiskers.
Thanks. It took a while to get this. Like everyone says, shave it off. It's COVID time. I'm like, you know how long it took me to grow this?
Yeah, you can't shave it during COVID.
No.
Right.
I will say it is refreshing to have somebody on the show with a beard.
Yeah.
It's about time, hey Chris.
It's rare, man. Beards are so rare these days.
Well, if any consolation, I've had mine for 10 plus years.
Well, you got me beat because I only had a goatee until COVID. So,
but it hasn't been this long. I grew it long in the last couple of years.
That's good. Progression.
That's right.
It's not about perfection. It's about getting better.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, since we're talking about beards, that's what this episode is about: beards and grooming methods. So, Chris, why don't you get us started with the products?
Okay. So first of all, which Chris are you talking about? And second of all, I am not being sarcastic when I say that it is refreshing to see another Chris who spells his name properly.
That's right.
Okay, now why don't you guys just go into your own private room and make out a little bit?
That would be
we
creepy.
can get back to the podcast.
We have the same name. That's too much like like kissing your sister or something.
I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. I can't relate. Anyway, Chris, what is predator world hunting?
Well, predator world hunting we started a number of years ago just to kind of showcase. Some guys are diehard big game guys. Some guys are diehard whitetail guys. Some guys are just diehard whatever. But I'm a diehard predator guy. I love calling predators in and hunting predators, mainly coyotes. So we decided to kind of showcase all of our predator adventures. I've been doing it for 30 plus years and we've gotten pretty decent at it. And we want to just kind of showcase what we can do.
Nice. Brilliant. And what's your AO? Where do you guys operate? Not specifically, but generally.
Oh, we're all over Saskatchewan. We go wherever the wind is calm and the sun is cloudy and the sun's not there and it's cloudy. We travel 2.5, 3 hours, maybe some days even 4 hours in any direction. We got contacts and spots all over Saskatchewan, mostly southern Saskatchewan, but all over south of the forest line. And I don't know how many days we spent in the field this year, but I think it was 47 days we spent in the field this year.
That's pretty good.
It was a lot. I burned up holidays and we took advantage of every day. And like you want to go every day you're off, but the weather, it's got to be got to be favorable. But it was a good season and we had a lot of favorable days and we made it pay.
Well, did you guys go during that week or 10-day stretch that it was minus 50 or whatever?
Oh yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
How successful was that?
Well, it was a mixed bag. The days that it was minus 40 something when it was calm, we did well, but you couldn't stay out there very long. Like your eyelids freeze shut and you can't hardly open them. And then there's some pictures up on our Instagram where Jeff doesn't have a beard, but I got a beard. And all it is you look like an icicle hanging out there after 5 minutes.
So then how does that work? Because, you're posting up on a stand well away from your truck.
Yeah.
And if you're out in, minus 50 where, exposed skin is freezing in minutes, how do you manage that?
You cover up, like you just start to get used to it. And then Jeff and I, we don't camera equipment and film, like we try and tacticam as much as we can. But even at that rate, we were having camera issues and camera failures and batteries were dying after 1 minute when normally they last all day. So it was definitely challenging. And then at that point, we're not filming. We're just dumping a guy off. The other guy goes, warms up, leaves the truck running. And then we don't even take chances. We're like, if you don't hear from me in 25 minutes or 30 minutes, you come and get me because that means I'm frozen or my radio doesn't work or something's going on. So we're pretty diligent about not perishing out in the field.
Well, I was just gonna say that's pretty prevalent. How do you guys communicate back and forth? You guys are obviously sometimes miles apart, if not
Yeah, so cell phone or radio, that's mostly what we do.
Okay. Do you have a preferred method of radio or preferred radio you guys use, or just
no? We got
Motorola from Costco or what?
No, we got a little bit higher end Midland stuff, so it can go, but it's it's still not ideal. It's one of the things that once you like Saskatchewan's flat and you're like, oh yeah, these can go 10 kilometers. No, not a chance. Like it's 2 to 3K with line of sight at best. So that's why, and it's tough. Some areas we go, like there's no cell coverage. So we have a standing time where if the one guy radios and he said you don't hear anything back, you drive up on the guy and hop in, and it's burnt us where I've gone radio Jeff and he's not responding or doing whatever. I drive up. He's like, oh, you just blew that stand. And he's done the same to me. We come up and I'm like, oh, you always want to give the guy as much time as possible, but you don't want him to freeze to death either.
Well,
seems smart.
I've definitely noticed that. Like I run whenever I'm out in the field, a Balefang UV5R, which are supposed to have 20 to 30 kilometer ranges. And like you said, it's always like 2 or 3 miles in a straight line that you're lucky if you get that within line of sight, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. I don't know why that is, because it's always advertised. Oh, you can get this, and this, and I buy 2 of them, and then I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why did I buy 2 of these things?
I tried some of the ham stuff, and the antenna's always in your way. Yeah. And you're like, oh, but this is going to be great. I'll be able to go miles.
Right.
No, right on.
That's no different than the mileage rating on your car.
Yeah.
Just take everything, no matter what it is, just divide it by 2, and that's about what you get.
Yeah.
So how did the season end up for you?
Well, yeah, I think we had a record-setting season. We between Jeff and I, and then the couple days that I got the old man out of retirement to come shoot a few, we put down 155 coyotes. We called and put down 155 coyotes this year.
155. That is decent. Way to go, buddy. That's
no, it was good. We put up a personal best day, our first day out of the season. We got 11 down that day, and I'm trying to beat my old man's record. Him and another hunting guy that he went with years ago. They got 12, and we had an 11. We've had a couple 10s, lots of 9s, lots of 8s, and we've just never been able to crest over that 12 in a day. And like guys in the US, they'll do it in a day, but the difference is they can hunt at night, and we can't hunt at night. We got it from half an hour to before to half an hour after, and that's our day.
And were they all smuck with that, or did you hit them all with that 20 BR?
Yeah, most of them. We Jeff and I hit most of them with the 20 BR. The odd one we get close with the 12 bore and
that's right too. Yeah. Well, what was the quality of fur like this year? Because there was a fair amount of moisture on the ground this year.
Yeah, no, it was good. They were really good. We only had about 10% mange and mites, which it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. That's only 1 in every 10. That we were 9 point something at the end of the season. And in some areas it's a little bit more prevalent than that. In some areas less. But yeah, 10% mange and mites is pretty good. We've had some years where it's as high as 30%, 35%. So it wasn't there. It's definitely out there, and we'll never get rid of it, but it looked like the numbers were healthy, and the coyotes were coming. You can always tell if it's a high mange year. They're a little bit more aggressive. They're a little bit hungrier. You get them coming in a little bit more. We had lots of challenging where there was obviously lots to eat, and there wasn't an overpopulation. So I think the numbers are pretty healthy in a lot of the areas. We probably definitely hit some of the areas a little harder than others where we saw there was high numbers. But yeah, we did pretty good. We had lots of really good days.
Well, in comparative to last year, like you had a pretty high number of or percentage of mange last year, did you not?
Yeah, I think we were around a little bit more mites last year, shoulder mites and greasy hides due to shoulder mites last year. So I think we were around almost a 15% last year. So it come down 5%, which is kind of a bonus.
Well, but the numbers were less last year too, right? Like
not by much. I think we were 120 some last year.
Huh.
Yeah.
Chad on Facebook here says you're starting to look like you got a bit of mange yourself, Chris.
Hey, I've like when you shoot fox and you handle fox,
end up with
I shot
fleas.
one fox this year and just didn't do it, but I've had it in previous years where like I've had fleas from fox. You just covered in,
Yep.
they're in your beard and you're trying to comb them out. So they can't live on humans. It's just an annoyance for a day. Yeah, I got, and like if you're gonna be handling fur and canines, I got flea shampoo that I keep around, and you just get the beard scrub on the scrub when you get home, and you're all fixed up.
You mean it's not Head and Shoulders that gets your beard so luscious? It's
No, well, no.
Well, let's not give away the trade
I
secrets.
beard
here.
oil that up.
Oh, there you go. So, what were some of your keys to success this year?
Well, there's a lot of guys calling, and I think it's gotten really popular, which is a good thing. So you really gotta pay attention to the basics and to the signs. You gotta recognize, you gotta change it up, and it's always good when you can find success early in the day and then replicate that, because every day is different.
Yeah.
One thing they like one day is not the same they like the very next day, and like there's a secret sauce. They all get the same memo. When you're having a good day, it's going to be a good day all day. When you're having a bad day, it's almost always a bad day all day. It's just when they're turned off, they're all turned off. When they're turned on, for the most part, they're all turned on. So just like knowing you got to pick your spots right, and picking your spots, you got to see the signs. You got to know that there's, first of all, don't call coyotes in an area where coyotes don't live. It doesn't make sense. You know, you gotta know what to look for. And it helps making those connections with the landowners, knowing that they're having trouble. They shoot you a text and say, "Oh, I'm hearing them every night," and that's usually a good indication. And you get out and you start looking at tracks. It's always good to have a little snow on the ground. I never like too much. We had some areas where we got once this year, and normally we get to them 10 times a year, where like we got stuck and buried Jeff's truck to the point where I was pretty sure we were going to have to sleep in the truck and we weren't getting home, but we got it out.
So how are you, like, obviously there's a lot of legwork and networking that's involved in picking your spots, but say outside of the networking, what are some of the keys to finding a good stand or a good spot?
Man, you just got to look for sign, look for coyote tracks, look for scat, look for area that is like coyotes are everywhere. And you just look for a little bit of structure. You don't need a lot. And coyotes will be out, and everyone drives by, sees coyotes out in the field. You just keep your eye open. Coyotes take the easiest path. So it's normally the road where you're going to see it, or a road or trail where you're going to see scat, and you just take a look and get that area and knock on a few doors, ask them if they're having trouble with coyotes, especially if they're a rancher. They're usually more than willing to let you poke around and take a look and have no trouble. So like they're almost everywhere. And the key is to kind of get off the beaten path. If you're where all the easy, like there's no more easy coyotes. So you got to get off the beaten path. Everywhere where there's easy coyotes, they've been called umpteen times this season already.
Well, and even like, so this last spring, I purchased that Fox Pro off you.
Yep.
That I can't remember the model now, but like I tried. I went north of Indian Head, right off the highway. That, Cottontail, or the Distress Jack call. I can't remember the name of it. But it's normally for me, that one is the go-to. And that's the one that, calls them right within, 20 meters of me kind of thing. And I put that up there and I sat in my stand for 20, 30 minutes, didn't hear a goddamn thing. And it, like you said, you got to pick your ass up and move off the beaten path. Because right there, a mile off the highway probably isn't the best bet, right?
Yeah, you got to be willing to go places where the average Joe doesn't go. Like there's lots of road hunters, lots of opportunistic hunters, lots of lazy hunters, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta be willing to put on a couple of miles on your boots and get into ugly shit. Like coyotes like ugly shit too. That low lying brush, the willows and stuff like that, especially when there's good rabbit populations and mice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you gotta be willing to get down there, walk a mile.
You gotta, and it's like as soon as whitetail season comes, a coyote knows what a vehicle is, and then some, and they don't forget for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's it makes it challenging. So like when I'm out during whitetail season and I'm coyote, I stay away as far as possible because you get bumped on, drove up on. Coyotes are spooky. They are not common. The rural traffic increases tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it challenging for sure. Like usually that's when Jeff and I usually take a break and just be like, hey, we'll take a break for a week or 10 days and it usually doesn't settle down until a week after the season. Then it starts to get a little bit back to normal.
So what are the regulations right now? Do you have to report each coyote?
Oh no coyotes are open.
They're completely open. Okay. So do you like for conservation and stuff? Do you work with anybody to report that, or is anybody even monitoring that?
Yeah, you get your survey like you do when you buy your South Sask fur license. So there's a survey that comes and it's mandatory now. You fill out your survey. They ask you how did you do? Is you see more or less than last year? What zones were you in? And you just fill out your survey in your HAL account, and you do that with whatever.
Just takes you a little longer than the average person, hey?
What's that?
Just takes you a little longer than the average person to fill out the survey.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Friend of the show, Dennis here from Go Ballistic Gunsmithing, Dennis Lair says hunters are educating coyotes during whitetail season.
They absolutely are. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Dennis is one of our sponsors as well. He built mine and Jeff's 20 BR.
That's that beauty right behind your beard
is,
there,
yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
So here's a question.
Go ahead, Chris.
What the fuck?
Meant to ask you earlier. 155 coyotes down. How many rounds expended this year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like
154.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We all miss, and
Absolutely.
I try and maximize. But yeah, I don't know. There was probably I'd have to count up the brass, but there was. I know I missed at least probably 10 times. I probably missed 10 coyotes. There was at least 10 rounds shot that didn't go in the fur. And they sometimes they hang up out there. I made my longest Caillou kill here at the end of the season. 498 yards, which was pretty good. It was only like 5 mile wind, but I got the Gunworks BR 2500. I got my ballistic profile dialed in there, so I put it on there, dialed up, and I'm like 5K wind. That's got to be about 0.2, 0.3,
right?
And got her done. I think Jeff got one last year in the 540, and I think one this year in the 530. So he's got a couple long ones too. But I felt good about that one. That was the one that come by and sometimes they don't stop. They're looking at you. It's a sunny day. You're sticking out like a sore thumb, and they're just either you got to make that choice. Do I take that running shot, or could there be another one? Is there a chance to call it back? So I waited on that one. Then I moved over, saw another one pop up. It saw me move, dove over the hill, and then the third one come up like a minute later, and I got that one. And then I stayed persistent because I was so angry that first one, and it ran to.
Hey, where are you guys running from? Yeah.
It ran from over a mile and then stopped and laid down there, and at a range it thought it was good, and I'm like, you are so mine. I'm gonna. So it was good to reach out and touch that one. I got
absolutely, yeah. And then the walk though.
Oh,
after that.
Yeah, you burn up so much time shooting them far away. Most of them are inside 100 yards and it's a quick pickup, but those ones that you do at long range, you write off half an hour just going to get them.
Yeah.
So we're talking about hunters educating coyotes during whitetail season. What do you think the average hunter could do better, or maybe you just have a couple of tips or tricks that the average hunter can do not to educate them yotes?
Well,
or is it just inevitable?
It's
just
inevitable.
it's inevitable.
They want to
like,
shoot something. And
Yeah.
it's a target of opportunity.
It's a target of opportunity, and
What
guys.
you're saying is if they don't want to educate them, don't take pot shots that you can't hit
Right.
a coyote.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then like you slam on the brakes once, pop out into the ditch and let a couple rounds go. That coyote's educated for the season. It's gonna think every time a vehicle drives by, if it slows down in the least, it's gone.
Yeah.
This isn't a gun-free zone. I'm out of here.
Yeah. They just get educated everywhere. It's inevitable.
Yeah. They're not
If only
stupid
they
animals.
were dumber. Hey, I keep hearing these rumors, and I want you to tell me if this is even a thing, because people talk, but you never hear it from any sort of official source. Are wolves moving south and breeding with coyotes and creating fucking super yotes? Is that a thing?
Like coy wolves?
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine. I've never seen one. So I've seen wolves and I've seen coyotes, and I'm yet to see a coy wolf. Apparently there's some pictures of some in the East Coast and stuff. Your guess is as good as mine.
I think that's an Ontario thing.
I've never
That's
seen
an Ontario
one.
thing?
Yeah, where lots of people just don't know what the fuck a coyote looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's be careful.
That's not a coy wolf.
I shared
That's
this
a
to the
German
largest.
Shepherd.
That's a beagle, not a coyote.
Right.
But
and
in all
Eastern
seriousness,
coyotes look way different than our Western
They do.
heavies. Our Western heavies, like they're large. Like we shot a number of coyotes over 50 pounds this year, and they look big, but they're so furry and so fluffy. Their legs don't look like they stand there. Those Eastern coyotes aren't near as heavy, but some of them look tall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think it's a thing even in Ontario, or is this just people? Is this the Sasquatch of the four-legged?
Man,
I've never seen David Suzuki report on it, so it can't be a thing.
I wouldn't rule it out, but I wouldn't like until I kind of see one or there's like solid evidence. I don't know.
But you said that you're basically all over the province south of the tree line.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not seeing them, who the f- is seeing these things?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to stop perpetuating that myth because, everybody's, I've heard that the wolves are breeding with the coyotes now. And so he's like, well, I heard that the wolves are breeding with the coyotes now. And then it becomes one of those.
Honestly, though, it's not beyond the realm of possibility because, they're being driven from their normal habitat from the north, and they're starting to come down here, especially the old ones that are driven out of the pack and stuff.
Here's
right?
the big question. Are they even genetically compatible?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good question.
Here,
maybe somebody should just start asking that question.
Yeah.
This right here, I was just gonna say, good for a snack, not for banging. Todd agreed 100%. I was just gonna say, more often than not, wolves do not like coyotes in their territory. They'll fucking kill them.
It's the same thing with coyotes and the fox. So a lot of times you see call fox, but it's pretty rare that you call coyote when you call fox. I've watched a fox come in and I'm looking at it in the scope and it's coming right at me. And then I watch the coyote tackle the fox and try and bite its head off. And they're wrestling. And then I miss the coyote.
Yeah. Because you're just taken with the
I don't know, man.
Such a disappointing end to it.
Yeah. It was disappointing, but it was something cool to see.
Yeah, no
well,
doubt.
if I made a walk from PA or from Prince Albert all the way down to Mooseman, it took me weeks. I'd see a lady dog. If I was a wolf, I'd see a lady dog prancing along the side and be like, "Yeah, it's been a while." Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, before we move off of this topic, now we've got a problem here because Chad says that he heard on First Focal Plane podcast that wolves are breeding with coyotes now. We've now become part of the problem.
Yeah.
Chad's pretty funny guy. Chad and I are friends.
Next thing you know, we'll be on David Suzuki.
Yeah, that's
I'd
right.
go on David Suzuki. I would totally do that.
Can we fly on his private jet?
Yeah.
Well, it's the only way I can get to his recording studio.
That's right. Well, Chris, back to wolves. Did you see any this year? Or?
Yeah, I seen 2 this year. at a distance, not coming to the call, but I've seen a couple at distance.
They're too smart for that shit, hey?
I don't know. Like they're on my bucket list, but they're a tough sell for sure.
Smarter than
I've
yotes?
called 2 in the past, and the first one that I called in, me and 2 buddies, she she was a big old wolf, but she was missing half her teeth, and I think that was probably motivation enough for her to
Probably
come to
an
that
easy
that
lunch.
squawk. Yeah. Exactly right.
She was a meth wolf.
Maybe.
We call those alphabet soup wolves, Chris. That's a Saskatoon joke for all you listeners.
Yeah, but that's quite a feeling, that rush you get when you see the coyote bust out of the bush and run across that field. Well,
yeah,
when you see a wolf bust out of the bush and run across the frozen pond,
yeah,
hair on your back just goes like this.
Yeah, we've tried for going specifically for wolves before and just not had any luck. But
they're tough.
I'm not ruling it out. I'm still holding hope that in a bobcat. It'd be great to get a Sask bobcat.
Hey,
bobcat would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
I've heard.
What would you do with the hide if you had got a bobcat?
Well, bobcat, like southern bobcats, like New Mexico, Texas bobcats, they're worth big money. But our Canadian like bobcats in BC and Alberta and Saskatchewan, they're more brown and their spots aren't as prevalent. They don't sell like the high pales. So if I were to do it, I would probably do it mount, just because it's a true trophy here. They're not easy to get, and they're not abundant here.
So I've heard guys talk about them being in the Qu'Appelle Valley, bobcats, and there's truth to that.
Yeah, I've seen them.
It's just a big kitty, boys.
Yeah, I've seen them there.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. I seen one. Cool. I seen a number of tracks, but they're there.
That's interesting.
So boars are not necessarily predators, but they're annoying bastards, and there's a hell of a lot of them. You got any plans on ever branching out into boar?
Yeah, boars would be fun for sure. You got to hunt them a little bit different, and but yeah, boars would be a blast. You
haven't done it before though, or?
I haven't done it before. No. But yeah, it would. If you got a crew together and you move some territory and you move some bush and had them the way they do in Europe, you could probably do it pretty fun.
Yeah, I bet.
They're not easy to hunt, I don't think, though.
They're not super easy. Like if you could night hunt, that'd be way easier.
That's right.
Yeah, they're not easy to hunt in the daytime.
Well, aren't they supposed to be aren't they partially or completely nocturnal?
Mostly,
yeah. I think they're like almost. Well, they say that you can got people see them out in the daylight, so they can't be 100%. But I think they're primarily nocturnal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someday they'll get bad enough that the regulations will change. Who knows?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Quit stomping on our
dreams,
dreams, Sean.
Yeah. People shooting their assault rifles past dark. We can't have that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Anyway, so
I can't see it in this province. I just can't see it.
It was hard enough getting Sunday hunting, let alone.
Yep.
Anyway, so Chris, a little while ago you were talking. Well, I guess a few minutes ago we were talking about that rush you get when you see a big dog come out of the wherever. Do you still get that rush? And if you do, how do you mitigate it?
So yeah, like that's the thing about coyote hunting. It doesn't matter if you're in the same place. Every time and every stand is different from the one before. Even if you're sitting in the exact same spot, it's unique every single time out. And yeah, absolutely. You can't stop the rush, the heart pumping. You just gotta. Patience is key, and the more you're in that situation, we got comments on YouTube. Why are you waiting so long? You could have shot him 10 times over. It's like because he's coming. You just know to read the language, stay calm, stay still, read the body language, and like the coyotes stop and they keep coming. If you, like my old man always said, if you can make it, take it. But why not wait till they get close, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's always you're on it, and if you're feeling there, and sometimes, like I've shot so many, you position the call, and once you do this enough times and you see how they go, coyotes. That's why I like the single horn. A lot of guys run the Shockwave and the X-Wave, and they put 2 out there and they think it's great. I'm not a believer. I don't like it at all. I like a single horn pointed in the direction I want that coyote to come.
Yeah.
That's the direction I have my gun. And then if they come from different directions, you move. But when they come from a long way, you can watch them and they'll tailor till they know exactly, they know the square foot where that call is coming from.
Yeah.
And they will be, when they're hungry, they will beeline and run straight the direction that speaker is pointing. And like it's the easiest running shot. They're coming in, and if you have it out their ways, like it's great when you've got the 12 bore and you could put it out there only 15 yards, you stay still and pop at the last second. It's great. But if you don't, and I don't carry it on every stand because sometimes it's heavy, sometimes I get lazy, sometimes you think they're not running that day and they're gonna hang up, so it's pointless. And I've been burned before. Jeff always makes fun of me, but I like when they're coming at you, and sometimes you can't unconvince them. You're yelling, woo, woo, You're trying to make them stop, and you can't unconvince them, and you got to shoot them at the run. It's really easy to put the crosshair right here and squeeze head when they're coming head on, and they just fold up. So if you always it's hard enough to do if you take away as many of the mistakes and put in as many elements to succeed. That's how you put down the numbers.
It's funny when you're talking about, the excitement that you get and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how many guys I've been out with, I've taken out that haven't hunted coyotes much at all. And even if you tell them, just wait. If we get one coming in, just wait. Let them get close. Let them come to you. And, there's, I don't know how many times you get 2 or 3 coming, and they get inside 300 yards. All of a sudden, Buddy's just blasting away.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about calming your nerves and staying calm, staying patient.
We had a question. We had a question
Todd.
come in from Todd here on the Facebook. Sorry, Chris.
No, go for it.
He says, how far out do you put the call?
Well, that's a really good question, and the answer is it depends. So if you're running a 12 gauge, and you don't do yourself a favor and don't sit behind stuff. That's just an obstacle in the way. What you want to do is walk in slow and calm, not over the top of a hill so they can use skyline, go on the bottom and sit so you're not silhouetted and skyline. Cloudy days are the best. So on cloudy days, when you got the 12 gauge, I put the call 10 yards from me, and you have them run right in to the point where they're almost falling over. I had a fox this season come, and it was the call was out in front of me about 20 yards, and it was trying to get behind the call, and I'm sitting there still, and it ran into my feet. It depends. If you're going to use the 12 gauge and you got a day where don't have a bunch of glare, and you're pretty well camoed, you got something behind you like a bush or a backstop, then put it close and let that action come. But then I've had those days where you're in the wide open and it's bright and you look like a sore thumb sitting out there. I'll put it 100 yards away. And then as they come and they're looking around, you take that focus away from you. It allows you to make that movement without them seeing you. So the answer is it really depends. I'm anywhere from 10 yards to 100 yards. But on average, it's probably, if I got the 12 gauge on average, it's 25, 30 yards. If I don't, it's 60 or 70. If you're confident shooting out to a few hundred yards, they normally, even if they hung up, they come to within 25, 30 yards of the call, and stop and take a look at it and give you a really good opportunity. They can move and see faster than you. So if you're stuck out like a sore thumb and just move slow, they usually give you that opportunity and take that look, and you usually can make that moving slow and watch their body language. If they're running over a hill or a dip in a field, make that movement while they're out of sight.
Right.
You can't see them, they can't see you. But if you can see them, they sure as hell can see you in any little movement. So you gotta time your movements right and get efficient at getting in position. And that only comes with seat time.
So speaking of seat time, what are you taking with you on the average stand? What's in your pack? What are you carrying with you as you're walking to that stand?
So I got my chair. I got my pack with my rangefinder. I got my Reese Outdoors Predator pack with my rangefinder in there on my hand calls. I've got my chair, my electronic call, my decoy, rifle, and a shotgun.
Yeah. Packing light.
Time.
What decoy are you using? Like what?
I like the Mojo, the original Mojo decoy, the one that's kind of thin, and it just sticks right in my call and it spins. It's really attached to my call. I've lost a couple toppers. Normally owls will swing down and grab them right off the call and they're thinking they're taking the call and they'll take it away. And I've had owls land right on my call and pull the faux fur off my call when it's going off, and like
jerks.
You see lots of crazy stuff.
I used to wear one of those furry hats, with the rabbit skin. I was hiding behind some round bales one time, and I watched this owl come from way across the field, and I thought that's pretty cool. And then he got to I don't know, probably 30 yards out, something like that, and he dove down,
dive bombed you
where I couldn't see.
Yeah,
and then it was apparent. I knew exactly what was going to happen. He'd come up and try and grab my damn hat. So what the hell do I stand up and look big, or do I hunker down?
That's all you need is to get clawed in the eyes.
Exactly.
With those talons, yeah, exactly.
That'll leave a mark and probably blind you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I stood up and tried to look big, and his eyes were about like this, and he landed in the tree above me and just kind of looked at me like, you fucking prick.
I thought I had supper, you motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't where I left my car.
Right.
All right. 1AB wants to know what you do with the coyotes after the kill.
Well, I put on a drag string. Normally we got these new Reese Outdoor critter drags now that, like, a lot of times you're shooting doubles or triples on a stand, and they got 3 rings, and you can just put the strap over top you and then just drag them behind and use your body weight, and then you got your hands still to carry all your gear and equipment that coming in. So just haul them back. I got a skinner that does my skinning, so he skins them out. And then
how does that work?
It's a guy, slave labor.
Tie
it's
a machine.
You have a skinner. I thought you were literally just like tossing yotes onto some conveyor belt into the
no.
Like, what the fucking hurt?
It's like a Caillou combine.
The guy he uses pretty much is that machine. He's amazing. So
fantastic. Okay, so you've got your skinner.
Yeah, we got a skinner. So what we do is like we put snap rings in the ear and give them earrings so the skinner knows who coyotes are. And then Jeff and I pick up the rack full of coyotes. We unload them and I pay him a set amount to do all my custom skinning. He calls me when they're done. They come wide, stretched and fleshed and dried. And then there's fur buyers that come around, and you just you sell to the fur market, and then the fur buyers market them and do what they do.
Now, what were those prices like this year?
They were down from last year.
Last year was pretty good, wasn't it?
Last year was pretty good. They were down 30%. So you're anywhere between 80 and 110 a coyote done. Of course, you got the goal is really if I can break even what I pay my skinner, and I can break even between ammo and fuel, hell yeah.
You're laughing.
Yeah, that's a win.
Well, and then if you don't got to, deflesh and have a shed dedicated to that and stink up your neighbor's area, your lady friend's got to be happy about that, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
I used to do like a lot of them myself, and then I get her to come help because you do it. And I'm pulling down, and sometimes bodily fluids like that guy you pissed all over. She's like, I'm done. I'm never helping you ever again. She's like, it's over. And then after that, I said, "Don't worry, we're not going to do any more. Let's just go."
So most people probably know this, but I don't. So what are people doing with the coyote fur market? Like what sort of materials are we making out of these guys?
So most coyote fur is for garment trim. Like the famous one is the Canada Goose jacket. The hood on the Canada Goose jacket, Western heavy coyote fur.
Isn't that something? Hey?
Yeah, they're not the only game in town. There's lots of manufacturers, and it's sold around the world. And the thing about coyote fur is it's warm, it's natural, and it's frost free. It doesn't freeze up like synthetic stuff. It's the real deal. Like it works.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Well, I got another question for you. I don't know how you're going to take this, but Spudman wants to know if you pee while hunting, and does the scent chase the coyotes away?
It's too much of a pain in the ass to reach through all those layers, hey?
Well, it is, but I definitely pee while we hunt. We drink a lot of coffee and stuff. So, but yeah,
pick your spot.
Here's the thing: if you don't play the wind right, whether you take a leak in when you're sitting on stand or you've showered in, like, a coyote can smell you,
or you just have coffee breath.
A coyote can smell your natural scent, or if you take a leak from a long way away. So that's there. I do webinars and do some coyote. It's called Coyote Hunting 101, and I do some webinars on coyote hunting and that. And what I always say is there's five steps. So there's the scouting, you're finding your location. There's your setup. There's what you do before you get into your, there's that pre-setup, setup, and post-setup are the main four. So having your setup correct is 80% of your success. That one step, setting up, is 80% of your success. The rest is reliant on you. If you have a poor setup where you can be seen, where the wind's not right, you only have 20% success, if that. If you set up correctly, you're already 80% the way 80% the way there.
You see what Todd's telling you?
What is that?
I was gonna say it, but trying to pull 3 inches out through 6 inches of clothes.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about coyote fur.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
All right,
Dan
so
Vollmer,
yeah.
what do you? He's asking, are you a factory ammo or hand loader kind of guy? If hand loads, what's your bullet of choice? Well, we know you're a hand loader.
Well, I'm a
with that
hand
20
loader.
BR.
You can see it from behind, and I shoot 20 BR. There's no such thing as factory 20 BR.
That's it.
But yeah, we shoot. Jeff and I shoot 55 grain, long range burgers that have been kind of discontinued, but we got enough for barrel lives. But it requires a fast twist, and they're loaded out super long. And yeah, the BC's pretty high on them. So yeah, hand load all the way, especially if you want to go out to reach out to distance. However, a lot of guys coyote hunt and they say, like, oh yeah, hey, like, I shoot factory ammo and I'm good with a minute of coyote. And I'm like, hey, whatever works for you.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So how does that 20 BR, how is it on the fur? Does it damage the fur at all, or? So
if you hit a coyote wrong, every bullet damages the fur. Yeah, so you got to hit them right. But I always, when everyone asks me, and it's a common question that comes up, they're like, what is your favorite coyote caliber? And I say, well, Jeff and I did a lot of research, and it's the 20 BR because it's like almost the same fur friendliness as a 223 Remington, but shoots as flat and as far as a 22 250. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. I used to shoot a 223, and it was great for fur. And Jeff shot it. But before that, I shot a 22-250, and I changed to a 223 because you kill most of your coyotes inside 100 yards, 150 yards anyway. 223 does great. But where I struggled was getting out past that 250, 300 yards and guessing the drop with the 223. And Jeff was shooting 22-250. He could get out there, reach out and touch them, but the ones you're shooting close, a lot of times you're blowing holes like the size of a melon that you could stick through. So he wasn't getting as much for fur. The Skinner was hating him and a little bit more because he's having to sow and pitching more coyotes because of damage. So when we went to the 20 BR, it's like the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. You can reach out to 500 plus yards, and then I would say probably 600 is a good limit. Like a 600-yard shot on a coyote is a pretty long shot, and we, like as you see, like even at 500 yards, you hit them right, it knocks them down. You hit them in the vitals, it's good. And I've shot him as close as 50 yards, and you hit them right, and there's just a little tiny hole in the stands, and it works good. So.
And at the same time, being an ethical hunter that you are, you want to mitigate any unnecessary pain and suffering to that animal as possible. Yeah, so maybe taking a poke at 600, 650 might not be ethical, right? So it just depends.
Yeah.
So, no, right on.
I used to shoot 243 with 58 grain V Maxes, about 3,900, and I mean, man, it killed kites like crazy. But telling you,
left holes.
Well, you get a raking shot, like a bit of a quartering away shot. It would, and you hit them on the ribs. It opened them like a book, but. More often than not, I was waiting for that straight on shot.
That's always the best. I shoot so many coyotes right here.
Exactly.
And, like, my Skinner loves it that there's nothing to sew. It's clean.
That's right.
Quick, but he puts them up, and as soon as he yanks the hide, because obviously you lift them up by their hind legs and you pull down and their heads blow. Right. He says it makes such a mess. He's like, what I know, he says, I get a bucket for you, Chris, when I know it's your coyote. So if it's not an obvious hole, I'm pretty sure it's shot right here, and I get a bucket to catch all when he pulls the hide down.
Would you rather have those head-on shots, or would you rather have a broadside going in the shoulder?
I like head-on.
Yeah?
Head-on's my favorite, yeah.
So for the uneducated, what are the advantages of shooting head on outside of what you just said?
Well, if you're shooting like with a 223, it probably doesn't make much difference, but with a faster or bigger caliber, you got usually no exit when you hit them here. As long as you hit them straight, it doesn't veer off. You hit them here, they go straight down, die instantly, and there's no mess, there's no nothing, there's no exit. It's the cleanest, fastest, least mess way to do it. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, on a coyote's shoulder bone, like I've hit a coyote on the shoulder bone with the 22-250 at close range and seen the hole that's this big, and that coyote ran off, and I have to give him another one because they're tough as nails, and you just hit it a little bit further ahead, and they run, and they normally don't go too far, but you have that run that risk of hitting in the shoulder bone, and they run off. Normally, when it's head on, they just fall straight down, and it's lights out.
Yeah. All right, we got more questions. We opened the floodgates here. First of all, I mean, Chad wants to know who's a better shot, you or Jeff.
Well, Chad always wants to know that shot, but it depends. So Chad's shot with both Jeff and I at PRS. I think Jeff beat me, but I'm getting a little better. Chad's probably my goal is to try and catch Chad this year in PRS because he's a really good shot. But when it comes to coyotes, Jeff and I are probably pretty even. We've both made some good shots, and we both made some bonehead mistakes. I might have been doing it longer, but Jeff's a good shot. We're both good shots, and not too many get away. But like I said, Chad, I'm coming for you this year, PRS. My goal is to catch you, buddy.
See, now that's a great answer, because not only did you not alienate your partner, but you got to put a challenge out on a national radio show at the same time. It was perfect.
International, worldwide reach, son.
I'm sorry, international. All right, Luke wants to know what's your I'm assuming that means personal best and not peanut butter. What's your personal best in the season?
So yeah,
You said 155 this season, right?
Yeah, I think 155 for the season total is probably our personal best. Like I kept track the last 10 years, and this one beat it. I think we had a 141 year a number of years ago, but I think this is the best. And then the personal best in one day from half an hour before to half an hour after is Jeff and I for opening day this year. We shot 11.
I remember
Still
that
couldn't
post.
catch the old man though.
No, it's going to happen. I had a chance. So I was hunting with the captain Coyote, and we had a chance to do it. We shot 10, and I missed 7 coyotes.
Oh,
Like they were run, and we didn't bring the 12 gauge, and they were running like I've never seen before or after. You couldn't stop them. They like all 7 I missed were on the run inside 50 yards.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
They just wouldn't stop. They just wouldn't come. They're blasting out everywhere. They're coming in the first 60 seconds to 3 minutes. And it was, I don't know what it was about that day. And I missed 7. And we still got 10 that day. And I personally missed 7.
Did you hear getaway banjo music?
Oh,
When they were coming through.
I was absolutely
Eastbound and
sick
down.
I was sick to my stomach. Like we had it in the bag, and I'm like, so after that, I'm like, okay, you never, even if you're not gonna pull it out of the truck, for those days where you can't stop them, have the 12 gauge.
so speaking of 12 gauge, what are you running for 12 gauge?
So I'm just in the midst of. I think I'm gonna hit up our buddies Ben at Extreme Range and get him to order me a 1301 comp, like what Jeff's running. It's just a really light,
Those are sweet.
easy to
Beretta,
manage.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beretta? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I was running the old 870, and I even put on a stock and everything, and like it works well. It's just a little bulky. I run.
You sold that, right?
Red Dot, yeah, I sold that. Yeah.
I was this close to buying it off you, and I'm like, no, I don't need another 870. I have 4 of them. So.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I got a technical question now because you just got me interested. I've got a Beretta 301 that I inherited from my father. Is the 1301 just a modern version of the 301, or is it completely different? They're both semi-automatic 12 gauges.
Yeah, but the 1301 is more modern. Plus, it's a lot more refined than the 301.
So it's a different system then.
Yeah, and the 1301 is more widely used in competition, believe it or not, in 3-gun aspects, and I think that's where Scobs maybe got his inspiration from, because the aftermarket for the 1301 is huge. It's as big, if not bigger, than the Remington Versamax. So,
I like that you can run a 21 or 21 inch, and then your choke. You don't need a long barrel, and like you can run an 870 like tactical too, but like it's nice having that. Yeah, I used to shoot 3.5s, and I don't really like. You don't need 3.5s to cook. Right? 2 3/4 does fine, but I like running 3-inch, like 3-inch BB or triple B, and they work good.
What's your go-to shot shell for those?
I like the Challenger, the Challenger heavy lead, like BB or triple B.
And that's a nice, easy on your wallet, cost-effective Canadian-made option too, right?
Yeah, and they work well. My old man, he's a big fan. He likes running the fast steel from Kent, and he likes running that. And he says it has enough. He likes the fast load stuff. I like a little bit more of the hammer loads. And I've never had a problem when they're in range. They go down.
Well, backing up a bit, a while ago, back during the last year, during around this time, I picked up a box of these 22 cal 68 grain match bullets and BTHPs, both hollow points, and I was going to do some development for this and maybe take that out, and because I know you and I were talking a little bit this season about potentially getting out, but we just couldn't make it work and yada yada yada. But I don't know. I'm stoked. I want to try this out and do some load development because I'm just running a cheap Savage Axis that is getting me going. And
Hey,
know?
I had a Savage Axis back in the day. Like, they're
Yeah.
man, you don't need anything fancy. Like, you just need a gun you're
Nope.
comfortable with, that
That's right.
shoulders well, that you can move and manipulate quickly. Like, you just need something that goes bang, and that you're confident in.
That's right. That's right. So
Kurt, do you want to bring that question into the air, or the
Oh,
one you just
sure.
answered? Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
see what Chris has to say about it. Shane's asking 20 BR versus the 204 Ruger. Both are 20 cal. What's the advantage of the BR over the 204? It seems like the 204 would be easier to find components for.
Yeah, 204 is definitely. We looked at the 204. We also looked at the 20 tack and the 20 prac too. We just kind of. I'm a big fan of the BR case. So in most of the 204s, they're not a fast enough twist to run that 55 grain that
Yeah.
55 grain bullet. You need a minimum 1 in 8. And Kurt, you might know. I don't know what a 204 is, but I'm sure they're not 108. They're probably 1 in 8. They're probably 1 in 10 or 1 in 12. Eh?
Well, originally they came out with a 12 twist, and then they did finally step up after several years and started producing them out of the factories with 10 twists, I
Yeah.
believe. 10 or 11, something like that,
Yeah.
because they recognized that the 40 grain bullets were right at the
The edge,
stabilization limit, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
So, and that's
And
the thing with the 20 BR too. You can run a heavier bullet with a faster twist, of course,
Yeah.
but you run it harder.
I'm
And
running harder. Yeah, we're running around
Yeah.
3600. We're running around 3600 with the 50
Okay.
with the 55 grain, and like I just wanted it. Like, I'm a big fan of the BR. Should shoot 6 BRA and for PRS. Big fan of the BRs, and it was just when we did all the calculations and did all the research, it was just a good all around round to shoot those 55. And there's someone, I think they make a 58 in the black hole bullets too for a 20 cal.
Oh.
They're the only ones that I know that make that higher, but you need that fast twist. And if we were going to get a barrel done anyway, we figured we would go that way. The 204s, like you said, if you're shooting a factory 204 is a great Caillou round. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's just you're limited to that 40 grain in a 1 in 10 twist.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of coyotes that I found when I had a 204 needed a second round. Honestly, they just didn't have the poop, especially when you get out to 300 yards or something like that. You got to give them a second one. Where that BR case would carry that much more.
It carries that energy
grunt.
further.
Yeah, for sure. You bet.
And that's the main reason. Just a 204 will do it. We just wanted a heavier bullet. Like, I really liked when we did in the 22 250 and 223, the sweet spot for energy and like downrange energy to and punch power versus you don't need much for wind because you don't coyote hunt too much in the wind, but for that energy, that kill power, and the fur damage, we really like that 50 to 60 grain bullet. It's just really what worked on Western heavy coyotes. So when we kind of designed it around the bullet and come up with that cartridge. Then the guys at Cheyenne Predator, they influenced us as well. They've had TS Customs build their 20 BRs for them, and Jeff reached out to Lonnie and said, "Hey, like, what's your favorite gun?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's absolutely the 20 BR." And we got into it, and they were influential on helping us make that decision too.
Ken Andrews says that the CZ 527 Varmint 204 is a 9 twist, so I do stand corrected. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. They did manufacturers did smarten up a little bit and give it a faster twist. Like, it's silly for them to have gone 12 twist in the beginning, other than to get that velocity out of the 32 grain. Like, that was their advertising campaign when it first came out, was 4,250 feet per second or whatever it was that Hornady was saying when they first came out with that 32 grain bullet. So you go with a slower twist, and it'll help you get to that velocity. So I guess that's probably the reason. Chad Dale's coming up with another question.
He's throwing softballs at you.
Yeah, if you guys are having trouble getting dogs in with e-calls, do you find switching it up with open reads helps?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when like there's a time and place for hand calls and the e-calls, and you got to just kind of do what kind of we like the hand calls because it's unique every time. They're loud, they're a little bit more realistic, they're not as tinny, but you gotta be careful. You can't blow on them as much as you do play an e-call, because again, that Coyote knows the exact square footage, so they work really good in areas where you got cover and you can blow on them, and that Coyote's going to show up. It's going to look around where that is. If you're out wide in the open ass prairie, you got to wait longer and like do your sequence and then wait longer and do it, because they're going to be looking at you instead of the e-call. That's the biggest benefit over the e-call, is to be able to take that focus, that Coyote's focus off you and put it somewhere else and allow you to make your movement. But you can't go wrong for the cost of read calls and hand calls and the what you can do with them. Like Jeff's an absolute, I'm decent at it, but Jeff's an absolute magician when it comes to blowing on calls and making sounds. He can make birds, mouse, rabbits. He can do whatever that day, and he does. And we work together to try and find out what's working that day and change it up. Like if you go out and you make 3 stands and you're playing Jackrabbit, and no Coyotes are coming, and you're fairly certain there's Coyotes in the area, change it up. Don't keep playing that sound.
Something different.
I've watched it where one day they're coming to rabbit, the next day I see the head poke up and they run the exact opposite direction. Just
because somebody shot at them when it sounded like a rabbit the day before.
Yeah.
And so they, like, for sure they could be smart and like they could be already educated Coyotes. You got to change it up and go with that flavor of the day. Like, so I'm pretty sure they're like humans who like, if you're full,
I don't feel like
if you're
rabbit
hungry
today.
anything will work. But like if you don't feel like a cheeseburger every day if you're full, right?
Wow. Maybe go Buffalo Burger instead of cow.
It's all about that Beyond Meat, man. Get with the times.
Oh,
Yeah,
good Lord.
Fuck.
You need a timeout.
If I want to eat plants, I'll eat fucking plants. I'm not going to make them look like hamburgers.
Sweet. We covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah, it was a really good season. There's no complaint. We got out a lot of days in the field, and we had a lot of good success.
If you could change one thing, what would it be?
I'd make the wind stop blowing.
That's
Good
a tall
luck.
order.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I like the wind is your biggest enemy. Like if it's more than 15, 20K, really, like you could get a Coyote, but it's going to be close. It'll be quick, but they hunker down. They don't like being out in the wind, and like the wind.
Really?
The wind is your enemy.
They literally just hunker down when it's windy out?
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll curl up.
Like
and
they
that's it.
like
You
to,
think it's 'cause they
they're
can't-
nocturnal too, and it's always
Yeah.
calmer in the evening. So if they can hunker down and curl up in a ball, and it's windy that day, they'll go out that night. And It makes it tough when you have lots of windy days and calm nights. It makes Coyote calling tough. Even when it comes to a calm day, they've been out at night and they just change their tune. And if you've had wind where it's windy in the day and then windy in the evening, and that continues for a couple days, and then all of a sudden you see a calm day when it's 5K,
Get out
Jeff
there.
and I'll book out. We'll book off and get going, because
Yeah.
you know that they've been hunched up for days and they're looking. And so, plus the colder the better. They don't gotta laying on the ground, even if it's cold, they gotta stay warm and stay movement. Burn calories, so they need more calories the colder it gets. That's why we head out on those 30, 35 below days, and they You usually see them out and about more than anything, especially if it's calm. They're out all day looking to fuel up.
Yeah.
So have you guys got any special plans for next year? Is it going to just be coyotes, or do you guys have plans to go for anything else? Or
Well, like we were thinking about possibly trying to call bear this spring, which is always wanted to do. So you can guys have done it. I've tried it and been unsuccessful so far, but I'd sure like to call a black bear with my Fox Pro and have them come in all huffing and puffing, which would be cool. So we might do that. And Jeff and I definitely we're thinking about seeing if we can make a couple trips for wolves this year, this coming up this next season. And
I was going to ask, are you staying in the province, or are you planning?
Well, with COVID restrictions, it's tough. So no travel. The goal would be maybe get down to Idaho, hunt wolves down in Idaho or something for sure. And I want to get back down to New Mexico and Texas and hunt bobcat one day soon.
Well, shit, you can go to Texas right now. They don't give a shit about COVID.
Maybe we can convince Chase Curtis to allow us on his 500-acre property and do some night hunting with some nods and some ARs. That would be amazing.
Too, yeah.
All right, on. Well, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Like I said, we covered a lot of ground, and you gave a lot of free consulting tonight, which is awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's get back to her here. So, do you have any shout outs this week, Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to our sponsors, Reese Outdoors Canada. They provide us our packs, our critter drags, hand calls. They got the good stuff. It's great quality stuff. It never lets you down. It's of course, any call freezes when you're blowing into it, and that's the other thing when you're when it's super cold out. You got to keep your calls tucked in your pocket so they stay thawed, and you don't get as many blows on it before it freezes. But it's the nature of the beast. Dennis at Go Ballistic Guns, he's always there to help us out, build our rifles for us. Ben at Extreme Range, he sponsors us and helps us out with some gear.
Have you been to his new shop yet?
I haven't yet, no, but I plan on it.
So nice. It's so nice.
Right on. Yeah, and then Scotty at Red Star out in Calgary, he hooks us up with all kinds of good. And of course, Colton at Prairie Precision, we got the best AR 500 steel going. And give him a shout if you're looking for targets and anything to shoot center fire, rim fire. Got AR 400, AR 500 for the best targets going. And
he's got that match coming up in August.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately we cannot go to because we're hosting Kurt is hosting the Rimfire Sniper Series out at his range on that same weekend. So
the same weekend?
Yeah. So unfortunately we're committed to that. Yeah. Otherwise we would be there. So anyway. Right on. Well, Mr. Chris, who do you got this week? Chris, the bald Chris.
Yes, let's refer to me as the bald Chris. Take your hat off, Chris.
I got it.
Oh, shit. I took a shot. Can't blame me for taking a shot. All right. Who the hell am I shouting out? I'm shouting out everybody who I am currently waiting for firearms from. So I am I'm waiting for I'm not calling out, I'm shouting out Gray Birch Solutions. I'm waiting on their foundation chassis. It looks like they're getting pretty darn close to that. Can't wait to get my hands on that sucker.
I'm taking orders right now.
They've got one. I'm waiting for it, but yeah, they're taking orders to sell more for sure. It's on the website. It says you can just buy one. So I don't know. They got to be close to shipping.
I'm not sure. I think it's just pre-orders right now.
But it doesn't say that on the website though.
Oh, I thought I checked it. I'm looking right now. Oh, you're right. Add to cart.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask Steve about that at Gray Birch to see what happens. But anyway, looking forward to seeing it. Bullseye North. I am waiting for the MRA Maverick receiver. We're going to put together a nice straight pull 308 build out of that, and I'm super excited for that. I mean, it's been delayed for a little bit. I'm not too sure why. I haven't heard anybody saying what the delays were about, but if they were manufacturing or what. But hopefully they're coming out in the next couple of days.
I believe Ryan from Maple Ridge was saying they were shipping last week. But
Ryan also said that they had already shipped on March 1st, and he said that on like March 2nd or 3rd. So true. I don't know what's going on there, but come on, Maple Ridge, get them out there. I want one.
That's right.
So that's from Bullseye. Also from Bullseye, I'm waiting. Well, okay, I'll save that one in a minute, and I'll come back to Bullseye. But Odell Engineering, I got to shout them out because I'm waiting on the new Canuck FD12 shotgun from them. Yeah. Okay. There's no such thing as shush. I'm waiting to get my hands on the Canuck FD12, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Looks like a great shotgun. So waiting for that. And back to Bullseye North, but it's not really Bullseye's problem. It's I'm just going to call out Caltech. Yeah, and say, come on, bros.
Yeah.
Ship your RDB to Canada. Obviously, they sell. Who cares about the American market?
Yeah, it's not potatoes. Just the RDB. I was talking to Ken about that, and it's without getting into too many details, it's not just that, but the sub 2000. Plus, some of their pistols are fairly popular as well. So, it's ITAR's a bitch. Let's put it that way.
Quit focusing on the small potatoes of the American market.
Yeah,
and exactly. Get that crap into the big, the big hitters. The Canadians, bring them to us because I'm waiting for an RDB. I'm just sitting here waiting for it to come. I have never in my life been waiting for 4 firearms. Well, I mean, I suppose the Grey Birch is just the chassis. I've already got the firearm, but close enough. I have never in my life been waiting for 4 firearms, and I'm now waiting for 4 firearms. So there's my shout outs and one call out because they're American. So I shout out Canadians. I call out American companies.
Shane with his infinite wisdom. Caltech Factory is not running at full capacity from what I've heard as well.
Well, Shane, you send them an email and you tell them to get their shit together.
Yeah.
Because Chris from Canada wants a freaking RDB.
There you go.
There's my shout outs.
Mr. Rooster.
Well, you know what? This week it'll be Precision Rifles. The links those guys go to help a guy out with his build. I've got my build coming for King of 2 Miles. Jens is getting his built there. Just the communication with those guys is second to none. It's fantastic the way they support the shooting sports, and now they're getting into this King of 2 Miles stuff, the ELR stuff. They're trying to get another event going here as well, and of course, like the quality of work they do. It sounds like a shameless plug, but it's true.
Tell us what you're building, buddy.
Oh, I'm building there's a couple of 33 XCs. Actually, 3 of them coming out of that shop right away. One for Shane, one for Jens, one for myself. And it'll be an interesting build for sure.
Nice.
I should shout out as well Rifles Refined as soon as I get that machine built. And Jens and I are going out to actually help Steve with the builds. So I might actually get to do some of the machining on my own rifle.
Nice.
And, I used to be a machinist. I haven't done that for a while. Hopefully I don't fuck it up too bad.
Hey, they're always making barrel blanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. And what's an inch or two here or there?
Yeah. Yeah, let's just cut that off and start from scratch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Rifles Refined. I believe they're in
Nova Scotia,
I believe. Yeah, and he's gonna build the stock for me, and can't wait to show that guy off once it's done. So, yeah, there's mine.
There you go. Well, I'm going to announce it here, considering Chris semi let it out.
No, hey, whoa, we don't have to announce anything.
Yes. Well,
I'm waiting for one. That's all anyone needs to know right now.
well, we're definitely going to. So
All right, let's do it.
We previously had Phil Odell on from from Odell Engineering, and Kris reached out to me saying, "Oh, Bullseye has these FD12s, these Canuck FD12s coming in," and I said, "Well, let me reach out to Phil." And so
let me see what I can do.
yeah, let me. Yes. No, I said to Phil, "Hey, can you hook us up with an FD12 for trial and review, and we'll see what we can do with it and do what we can." And Phil graciously said, "Well, how about we sponsor your show?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Ooh.
So we've been going back and forth for a little while, and we have an FD12 coming, plus some other things. I'm going to leave that to our imagination right now. From
and at
the
least
guys
the FD12, you guys are going to love the review that we're going to do with this thing. It's going to be comprehensive. It's going to be entertaining to watch.
It's not going to be those Mickey Mouse fucking videos that I take in my garage
there's
with
no
my
fucking
kid
around.
playing on YouTube in the background. Yeah. So
And for the record, everybody has my solemn promise. I have a day job. If I get kicked off the show because I don't like the FD12, you're all going to know that I don't like the FD12. It's going to be a good, solid, non-biased review. Although I'm pretty sure I'm going to like the FD12.
Pretty sure. Well, it's a bullpup 12 gauge. How bad can it possibly be?
Yeah, exactly. How bad can it be? Like, it's going to have a bad trigger. That was unexpected. But if it has a good trigger, then it's amazing.
That's right. You're exactly right. So my shout out.
Bullpup 12 gauge would be a good Coyote rig, wouldn't it?
There you go.
It would
a little
be
shorter.
Nice compact package, maybe a little lighter, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't wait for the review to come out.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have to sell it hard.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's my shout out is to Phil this week. So
Excellent.
Phil and all the team at Odell Engineering, they do great work, and they're the sole distributor for Canuck shotguns, Bergera rifles. What else? Canuck pistols as well. So yeah, check them out at odellengineering.ca. And we'll be doing ad reads for them as well. So strap in, guys. We got to pay the bills somehow. So anyway, right on.
All right.
Well, please, guys, if you still have it, leave a like on our Facebook page and YouTube. It would mean a hell of a lot to us. Also, check out Kris and Jeff at Predator World Hunting. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and you guys have a website as well, Kris?
Yeah, but find us on Facebook. Mostly Instagram's our big one, but Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah, you guys are always putting out great content on there. So
we're just going to launch season 2 of our YouTube channel. So season 1 was done, wrapped up, but now we're season 2 and we're running the 20s. So it's going to be I've been sitting here doing editing on all my spare time, and we have a lot of content to go through.
Nice.
Well, I can imagine. Well, if you guys still have it, leave a like on our Facebook page. Head over like Kris and Jeff's Facebook page. Subscribe and like on YouTube. It helps out the show and helps out with the algorithm, even though we can't monetize because we're a gun show.
So just send gifts.
Yeah, or money.
Gifts or gifts?
Yeah,
Gifts.
that works. Okay. And also, please leave a review for us on whatever platform you guys use it at, because we're everywhere. We're on Spotify, Google, iTunes, whatever you get it at. So anything will help. Even if it's you guys think the show is shit, let us know, because how else are we going to get better?
Especially if you think the show is shit, and we want to know. And be sure to include your home address.
Yep. Yes. Your social security number.
I just need a photo and your home address. That's all I need.
That's it.
There you go. Apparently, Regina City Police does not need that, but I will. We'll talk about that off air.
That one I don't know about.
My truck got broken into, and I found out who did it.
Oh yeah. Oh, you did find out who did it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be down there tomorrow. Oh, you're locked down.
I am locked down.
Your whole city is locked down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people are stealing things out of trucks.
Well, especially trucks that may or may not have been locked. So,
well, don't say that on the air. It was definitely locked.
Well, no, I there's no sign of damage, so it was. Yeah, I had to have left it unlocked.
You know what? The guy
know.
could be a really good door
I
picker.
doubt it. I found the guy's profile on Facebook, and he seems like a giant piece of shit. So we'll see.
Most likely.
Not too many skills with that guy.
Well, marketable skills. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of marketable skills, check out John Johnston and his band, the Dirt Road Scholars, the kick-ass music. He actually sent me some new music that I'm going to show you guys at a later date because I don't have that computer with me. But shout out to those guys. Check them out. Dirt Road Scholars on YouTube. They're awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. See you guys
Thanks,
next
Chris.
week.
You
We'll see
bet.
everybody next week. Yeah.
Oh, and Chris, I forgot to tell you before the show, do not go anywhere. I'm going to play a quick outro. And we're starting that now. Later, guys.
Ciao.